We're collaborating.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I cut off the intro.
Oh, hater. It's alright. I'll find a way. I will find a way. Cause I should do it again. Lamar, are you ready?
Well, we can't have none of this.
I just asked a simple question. Are you ready? Ready?
Yes, I'm very much ready.
Perfect. Oh, now I feel
So
better.
to do the Triple H. Are you ready?
No, are you ready?
Don't buy into this foolishness.
Oh no, buy into the foolishness. This one makes it better. So welcome everybody to the Foresight Podcast. And first things first, man, I'm glad to be off Zoom, at least for one podcast. Had great guests. I don't like Zoom. And this is my Zoom rant for the day. The last podcast had a great podcast. Zoom ruined the audio. So, but that being said, we are here today. We're live in the studio. You see, we got new things going on. We're trying new different looks, different everything. Everything is going to be changing over the course of time as me and the super producer Lamar figure things out. But we're not here to talk about super producer Lamar or myself. We are here to talk with our guests today, and I had the pleasure of meeting this young gentleman. A couple years ago.
Some time ago.
Yeah, a couple years ago, over at Herb Arts, and I was introduced to. At the time, I didn't know it was such a large entity, but a show that he was doing called Soul Shed, where basically musicians come up and they just jam. And I thought that was a cool idea, and we're going to be talking to him today. Let's have a huge welcome for our guest, Jermarco.
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Doing all right. Yeah.
I don't know what
just
to look through.
talk to the camera. We'll figure it out.
Hey,
So how's it been, man?
man, things have been busy. Things have been busy between growing the organization. When I did meet you, the entity was very small.
Yeah, I was looking at the history. I was like, wait a minute. When I met him like at the beginning.
Yeah, it was at the very beginning. We started the organization in March of 2018. And it started off as just a jam session. And now we're doing all kinds of programming, educational programming for mental health, community events, just a bunch of different things now. So it's expanded way past what it originally started as.
Now that's amazing and interesting, because now, last month was mental health awareness month, which was May, and we're into June now, Black Music Month. So kind of everything just runs together. Let's go through the beginning stages, like from when we first met. What was the idea what sparked the idea that started off as the original Soul Shed Jam sessions before they became Soul Shed University?
So there's a few things that sparked that kind of led into the start of the organization. So I myself am a musician, and I've been performing professionally since I've been 14. Started off in theater 2006, and then got officially into music in 2009 in a hip hop group called MME. And from then on, doing shows and doing tours and getting familiar with the different artists here in St. Louis, there were just always different gripes about what's going on in the scene, the lack of resources, so on and so forth. And just having different conversations with artists over the years kind of always put a thing in my mind of like, man, like we need to create something to really get things established. And so fast forward to 2016, I started working at Jazz St. Louis.
Okay.
And I got to see like a really established music culture. But what I realized was that there was such a disconnect to the people who are directly in the community, especially the younger musicians, that I realized that I wanted to create something specifically for the people within my community, the people that I do shows with, the musicians who really need something, who aren't into, I don't know, the upper echelon, of like music for coming and listening to music for music's sake,
right? The connoisseurs.
Yeah.
The connoisseurs, people that want to pip and hooray, and
Yeah. Like I'm here to listen to jazz.
Yes.
I don't understand what I'm listening to, but
it's so cultural.
It's great. Here's some money.
Yeah.
I'm here. I enjoy music.
There you go.
And so I wanted to do something that was really where the people were at. Where the people were at, and it's kind of the summation of the start of it.
Okay. So let's take it to 2018 now, and we're going to talk about some different subjects, but I just want to give you guys kind of an idea of the ground floor and the building of what Jermarco's been doing. So let's take it to 2018, and when the idea was introduced to me, I remember MK telling me, yeah, so basically what he does, he just opens the door and they just start playing. And basically whoever is, if they're musicians, they're invited or they're walking by, they just come in and hop up on stage.
Yeah.
Is that the best summation of what Soul Shed was or started out as?
Yep. It was literally come, bring your instrument, whatever it is. The stage is open. There isn't no specific. There's not a set list. There's not a sign up list. It's when you feel like coming onto the stage, come onto the stage and get in where you fit in.
Bro, so the show I saw, I think people were kind of nervous at first, and then I saw you get up on stage and you just started doing your thing, and then I just saw people, and then all of a sudden it just became this whole production, and I was just like, okay, that's not normal.
Yeah, man. So one of the things that I first had to learn with putting on the event, because it's something that's unconventional, you have to like lead people to the water. And before I started this event, I was a part of a poetry group called Lyrical Therapy. And it was an open mic event. It still is an open mic event that runs, every so often. And what we usually had to do was warm up the crowd, before people got comfortable signing on to the list and then coming up to the stage.
Okay.
And so I had already gotten to the mode of, you have to go up there first. You have to show an example of what it is that we're doing here. And then people kind of get more comfortable, they get more relaxed, and they realize that, hey, this isn't such a big thing.
It's not so formal.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of the biggest barrier to entry, is because people are they're so formal now. Everybody thinks everything is a process or has to be done a one way. So that's what I really liked, was that you were like, no, we just gonna throw this paint at the wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so from the jam sessions, how did you expand into now you're doing the university and you're dealing with so many different issues within the Black creative, in our creative community?
So once we started the jam sessions, I quickly realized that I wanted to be able to do more, rather than just, we're coming here to play music. Because initially I wanted people to come play music and network and get to know other musicians. And now I want you to learn from the people who are within the musician community. And so I had the idea of starting the Associate University program. And it was it started off with just a month-to-month kind of thing, where we were bringing in people to do different classes on different topics within music or related to music. Then so we did 3 classes in 2019. We had a class on yoga to kind of help people with their fitness. We did a class on performance, and then we did a class on marketing. And we also had a very interesting class. There's a musician out on the scene named Jermarco Britton, who has a kung fu music school, and he incorporates elements of kung fu and music.
So you can listen to really great music and watch somebody get their head kicked off too?
Yeah, not so much, but some of the basic principles of kung fu he incorporated into his teaching style of music.
Okay. Oh,
and so we had him do a class, and we were doing that, and we just did those 4 for the year of 2019. And then when 2020 came around, thought we should really try to do a full program. And so I started calling up people, emailing people within my network, and we developed this 12-month artist development program. And the classes were covering music education, music business, music performance, and wellness.
And then March hit of 2020.
Yes.
And the reason why I started laughing is because everybody's like, yeah, we've got the 2020. I had these plans. I have $2,000 worth of plans just washed down.
Yeah. Yes.
So when March hits and basically everything just shuts down, how do you make the pivot? Or were you planning it to be live, or were you always planning it to be online to begin with?
Was always planning it to be live.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing was to get people together in a physical, because it's just a different kind of energy that happens when people are physically together in a room.
Oh, definitely.
You was expressing that you hated Zoom earlier. I despise Zoom, especially for what we were doing. We went from having jam sessions and everybody's having a good time playing music, and then we're starting these classes, people are coming out learning from one another, to immediately all of that shutting down. You know, Herb Bars closed its doors, and we were left to pivot, and you know, the next best thing was for us to continue the classes on Zoom. We could no longer do any of our other programming for as jam sessions or anything, and it was definitely an adjustment, because I wasn't too familiar with trying to navigate the virtual world in a manner like so. But we kept it going through, starting from March of 2020 all the way through December. We had all the classes on Zoom and just had people sign on, and the lecturers taught their classes there.
That's logistically speaking, that's gotta be a pain.
It was.
So what were some of the things that you noticed that people took away from the Zoom, and what are some of the things that were definitely taking the Zoom, just being digital and going over Zoom, took away from the experience?
Well, definitely the fact that people aren't together in the room, it definitely took away from the experience. Because typically what we were doing after the classes generally lasted for an hour. And then we would play music immediately after, kind of trying to incorporate the things that we were learning immediately after, leaving the class. And then of course getting to talk with other folks. It's not really you can't really network after, on a Zoom. Yeah. After we're spending a whole hour dispensing information, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're out of here.
My phone battery's about to run out. Yeah.
My connection is bad. Trying to figure things out. Musicians are trying to run their sound through Zoom and share the different screens and different things like that. It was difficult. But one thing that it did help, because we were growing that part of our programming at that point in time, it didn't seem so bad having 3 or 5 people on the Zoom versus having 3 or 5 people in a room. Yeah. Yeah. And so it definitely helped in that, in an odd kind of way. It was more intimate.
Okay. Yeah. So now that we are, I don't know where we are right now. So where are you at with the program as of right now?
So right now we are just in a really huge expansion stage. We've been growing our team. Started off with 3 members. Well, 3 members including myself from 2018 to 2020, the end of 2020.
We kind of discount 2020.
Yeah.
We're just in 2021. That year don't count.
Yeah. And so now we're have a team of about 6 people helping run the organization. Like I said, we've expanded the programming from just a jam session at Associate University to now we're doing a jazz education program that's led by Antonio Foster, pianist here in the musician community. We're doing a support group to aid in the mental health of musicians led by Jawad Span, also known as Vintage Vibes, a saxophonist here in the community. And we're just continuing to just grow and try to add as many different parts as we can. And really establish it as a full running business. This was the first year that I filed taxes for the business. Yeah. You know, this is the first year that we started charging entry for our shows. 2018 through 2020, we were just doing all of our programming for free. And it was very costly. I was about to end the program at the end of 2020. But luckily we were awarded a grant in October of 2020. And I decided let's give this a really good push and see where we can take it.
So, big picture terms, where are you seeing the program as in relation to the city, and then in relation to kind of just how you want it to scale?
So in relation to the city, we'll be working on establishing a music community center. Where we'll be able to hold all of our programming, be able to serve the people within the community, specifically North St. Louis, and really emphasize the importance of music to society. It's just, there's numerous studies about the effects of music in development of people and culture, as far as, you know, the way that we think and we process certain things. You know, we tend to be a little bit, you know, more intelligent, you know, just because music is numbers, it's structures, it's shape, it's all these different things. And so it helps in, you know, intellectual development. It helps in, you know, one-on-one interactions, you know, human development, human interactions. And so scaling that and having something like that really here for the St. Louis community, I feel will be just great, you know. And then also opening up a venue here where we'll be able to host and really provide opportunities for the musicians here to have a place where they can come and gig, make money, and then also bring other people here within the city to also bring profit and start establishing a solid base of culture here in music. Outside of St. Louis, I'm looking to set up music cultural centers around the country.
Okay.
And then once we're doing that, expanding around the globe and establishing kind of cultural institutions to somewhat act as like cultural embassies, and highlighting the different music cultures around the world, and having SoulShed be a part of connecting the different music cultures around the world.
Man, that's dope. Music is, first of all, we're from St. Louis, so we already, from what I've observed in my lifetime, is that most of the people in St. Louis have a love for music, which is almost, it's like we're born with it. I don't know what it is. It's in one. It's different from anywhere else. Even Atlanta, the way the music is. The music is a part of the culture of Atlanta, but St. Louis, it's super cultural. Like for me, when I'm listening to R&B and like hip hop fusion R&B, I'm doing my drawing. I like to do art. When I'm listen to straight up rap music is normally when I have to draw an action scene or something like that where somebody getting their ass kicked. If it's something more jazzy or something like that, might want to paint. It's there's music for almost every artistic mood that I'm in as a creative. That's why the music. That's why the growth and the strength of the music scene here is important to me because I leech off y'all.
Yeah.
I leech off that energy because that's what helps me when I create. So, where would you assess the music scene here in St. Louis right now, especially after the forgotten year, which was 2020?
Yeah. I would say not only the music scene, but our entire city is in a very crucial stage for like opportunity. There's a lot of talk right now about gentrification and all these different things that are going on socially. But the way that I see it, now is the prime time to really establish something and get a foothold in something to where once all of these other things are developing, that are outside of our culture and outside of our hands, that we'll really have something to establish ourselves so that we don't lose hold of our city and we can't be forced out of. I live in North St. Louis. There's a lot of development going on in North St. Louis.
I saw that.
And I don't want to give up my place in my city. And so I want to establish something that no matter what's happening within the next 5 to 10 years, no matter how much land is bought, no matter how many people are pushed out of the community, that I have something here to where people who look like me, people who come from where I come from, still have a place here in the city. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me for us to give it up.
No, not at all. I don't want us to. I don't want us to have a situation where people do feel like they're being forced out especially out of the north. It's, when you see all these people moving to all these other places. Okay, you don't want to be around. It's fine. Yeah. We can really establish what it is, and I think that establishment does come through our propensity for creative art, through culture, through the artistic culture. So obviously, music, poetry, art are going to be really big pillars in us kind of keeping that foothold. Yeah. How do you feel about like attempts by outside forces to de-emphasize the arts in schools and things like that? Because I think that is something that's going to continue to be an issue, especially within the art culture, because I think the arts are so especially music, poetry, and art. I think those are so important to us as Black people. So how do you feel about how they're de-emphasizing that in the public education sphere, but now forcing us to have to do things like to create these centers so that we can't lose that, we don't lose that pillar?
Well, just another opportunity for us to have more control, over creating in the way that we would like to create. They started defunding the arts. I feel like I really began to see it when I was in high school, from 2006 to 2010, and I started to notice it back then, and then now it's almost like it's non-existent. Right. And I say, fine. We'll just do it our way. We can create our own music schools, our own art schools, our own, English and writing schools, centers or what have you. And we can do it in a way that makes sense for us. So.
Yeah. I love that idea. I think that's kind of, that's where we got to go to, because I think it's, if we want to keep things the way that we need them to be, we have to kind of look within. And that's one of the reasons why I brought that question up, because I think sometimes people see things happening and just get into this feeling of, well, what can we do? And obviously, the mindset is, okay, well, we'll do for ourselves.
Yeah.
So now that we're off all the heavy stuff, let's get into a little bit of fun. So you said you perform. What kind of instruments you perform with, or are you singing, or what? Because last time I saw you, I think you just went there and just started singing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I'm primarily a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
I have somewhat familiarity with rapping, poetry. I dabble a little bit in piano, but I'm not master.
You can't just sit at the piano like.
Yeah, I can hash out some little chords, but we might be at a 4-bar loop for a little minute, till I find my way into something else. But yeah, primarily vocalist.
Okay. You said you toured before.
Mm-hmm.
What was life like touring? Because like I said, I don't get to tour that much other than go to comic book conventions, and they just started getting cool where you had girls and stuff there. That's a long time coming. I'm old. But you were out touring with guys like Ab Soul and Chance the Rapper. What was that like?
So I didn't get on a tour with Ab Soul or Chance the Rapper. But the hip hop group that I was a part of, we had the opportunity to open for them when they were here.
Oh, okay.
And so we opened for Chance here at the Chaffetz Arena when he came here so many years ago. And then we also opened up for Ab Soul at the Ready Room. But the tours that we went on were, independent tours that we organized. Mm-hmm. And so we've been everywhere, down to Atlanta, to New York, Indianapolis, to California, kind of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And just reaching out to people that we knew in different cities, like, hey, do you all have anything, available these particular nights? Let's try to book something, and we get on a show together, and then we come here and do a show, and then we'll bring y'all to St. Louis, and then we'll create a show for y'all to do, and kind of just making those connections in different places. It's a good time. I myself, I enjoy being on the road. Mm-hmm. I enjoy just being out driving on the road, and having car conversations and blasting music in a car full of people who love music. Mm-hmm. It's quite an experience, and we driving hours and hours and hours, and we hop out of the car and it's showtime, and we hop out the car, get on stage, do what we love. Hit up a bummy hotel at that time. At that time, that's how we were doing it.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, and then just hop back on the road the next morning and go to the next spot. And it was a great time. I'm looking forward to doing a tour sometime in the future. Thinking about doing a Soul Share tour where we take the jam sessions out on the road and start. Partnering with different organizations in different cities. So I'm thinking that'll be a real good time.
Okay. Craziest tour story.
Craziest tour story.
Because you can't take musicians or artists or poets. You can't take artistic people. You can't. Good Lord. You can't take groups of artistic people out because we are all not normal. So you put not normal into close proximity. It's nitroglycerin. Something's going to happen. So
yeah, I don't have. Excuse me. I don't have too many. If any at all, crazy tour stories outside of traveling so long, we had to get an oil change, tire catches a flat.
And hold on, but in what kind of town?
No town, just literally just in the middle of the road.
That's even worse.
Yeah, and I can't think of any crazy tour stories. I would say in Colorado and Denver, There's this place called the Denver Biscuit Company. If anyone is ever there, please go there and eat their chicken biscuits because they are amazing.
Denver Biscuit.
And I've been thinking about it ever since we were there. It was around the time that weed first got legalized and we were all potheads.
Oh no.
And we're waking up. We're in the rental van just smoking it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to this place and eating these chicken biscuits, and I just remember that was one of the best mornings that I've ever had.
That sounds like a good time. So, touring is interesting to me, especially for musicians, because I know that's a form of income. How was that? Because you say you were booking yourselves, establishing yourself with and you don't have to reveal numbers or anything with the would the places pay you, or were you just showing up and jamming out, or how does that ecosystem work?
Well, sometimes we were getting paid, and then sometimes it was literally just us selling merchandise, and that's where the income was coming to get to the next location. And during one of our tours, we were fundraising throughout the entire tour. Mm-hmm. And so while we were out on the road going from city to city, we were raising funds online. We were doing, I can't remember what the fundraising site was called. But we were running a fundraising campaign, and literally as we were going, we were taking donations, and that was getting us to the next city.
Oh, wow.
And we were actually extending the tour through the fact that we were still getting money coming in, and we were like, all right, well, let's try to go here and do something.
Okay.
And yeah.
So you were using social media, and you're using outlets like crowdfunding outlets. Mm-hmm. How does that impacted your business, or the growth or lack thereof of your business?
Well, I would definitely say that it's a positive impact, because typically my experience, when people see that you're doing something, they'll support it. Mm-hmm. They'll support it, and that's when you really see like who are the people who are really watching and following you, and the people who truly support you. And people will invest, in people who believe in themselves. And I feel like that when we were going through that process, people saw that we were really pushing for something, and people supported it. And I think that's one of the great things of like crowdfunding. You can communicate with the people directly. Mm-hmm. There's no middleman, and people can decide to give whatever they, whatever is in their heart to give.
No, that's true. That's what's up. That's I like that. I like the idea that you can just reach out to the people and really just say, hey, if you want to donate or you want to purchase merchandise or anything, you can go to our website, do these types of things. So I know you were saying that you were looking forward to doing a Soulstead tour in the near future. For you, creatively, performance-wise, what are some of the things that you're looking to do in the near future on this journey?
So, man, it's been a while since I've actually done anything personally creatively outside of Soulstead. In Soulstead, I'm there, I'm in the jam, I'm in the midst, but it's been a while since I've actually performed as an individual artist. It's been a while since I've actually just sat down at a piano and wrote a song, or produced a beat or anything, because I've been so caught up with the trying to establish a business.
You've been locked in.
Yeah, so I've really been getting the itch again to start creating some music again.
Oh, snap. Okay.
But I've been just trying to figure out which way that I want to take it. Before I was doing R&B and soul music and hip hop, and within the last few years, I kind of had a lot of changes in my own personal life. Got more closer in my relationship to God, and really asking myself questions like, what kind of music do I really want to create? What do I, really want to have myself be a part of? And it's been really tough. I was singing background for a while. with different folks, and I decided, hey, I don't want to sing this kind of music anymore. I don't want to talk about foolishness. I don't want to talk about sex, drugs. I don't want to, sing background for people who are talking about those kind of things. And so really trying to figure out what it is that I have to say. I thought about, am I going to sing gospel music? I don't think I would sing gospel music, But I think I'm figuring out a way to really just create music that's just positive and impactful in a way that I see fit. And once I do step out again to create my own music, that'll be the direction that I'll be going.
Is it hard being at that crossroad? Because I think every artist of every variety, they hit the crossroad. What am I going to do? Am I going to do this type of music, art, poetry? Am I going to, is it hard being at that place, or is it, kind of take us through how you're just dealing with this crossroads emotionally, just.
Well, to be honest, I'm waiting for it to come to me. I'm waiting for it to come.
No, that's
to me.
real. That's real.
I've had the times where I've tried to force creativity out and force an idea out, and they always seem to fall flat.
That's the worst.
And I just learned that the best things come that just naturally come, and so I'm just waiting for it to just naturally come in the right moment and time and opportunity, and then just really just hit it.
Just go after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think I know artists struggle with, hitting those, because and I say hit the crossroads like it's just one. It's one of several. So you're going to have this change in ideas and motivations, and it's just interesting, like how you said, you just waiting for it to kind of just come to you, and I already know. Trying to force it never works. That's when you really make it worse, and you just feel bad. So how can everybody get a hold of you and find out more about the university and things that you're doing, socials, all that good stuff?
All right. Well, you all can follow the Soul Shed STL organization on all social media at Soul Shed STL. And then we also have social media for our Soul Shed University program, which is just at Soul Shed University. Mm-hmm. If you want to find out more about me personally, all my social media is Mr. Jermarco. That's MrJermarco.
Okay.
That's it.
So it's IG, Twitter, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's what's up. Well, Jermarco, man, we're going to get up out of here. Super producer Lamar, how can people get a hold of you and, find out all the great things that you're doing?
Foresight Publishing.
No. That's the publishing company. I'm talking about you, sir.
Foresight Studio.
You, sir. Let's try it one more time. You, sir.
DKG 72.
I see how we do it. All right, guys. Super producer Lamar is being himself today. So, glad to be back at the studio. Glad to be back doing podcast live. Now, I don't know, as we deal with people still in their own cities and all that type of stuff, there may be some more Zoom casts. But we're going to try to mix it up a little bit better on the Foresight podcast. Just want you guys to know, if you did like the video, the podcast, everything like that, make sure on YouTube you're hitting the like button. That helps the YouTube algorithm realize that we're a thing and people like us. And make sure that you're sharing the podcast all over the place. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, make sure that you tell a friend. Hey, these guys are here. They're doing good things. Also, if you guys want to support the studio, please head over to Patreon, and support is at DKG72/comics. there. And if you want to get a hold of me on Twitter and Instagram, I will be more than happy to divulge that information, unlike my super producer here. That is at DKG72 on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook fan page, and TikTok is David Gordon72. So, now that Lamar has distracted me with his antics, it's your boy DKG72, better known as David Gordon. This is the Foresight Podcast, and we are out of here. Peace.